Hello, I'm Karthik Lakshmanan. I'm a counseling psychologist. I'm going to explain how counseling is different from advice, suggestion and guidance. Most of the time people use these terms interchangeably. Actually speaking, 5 terms are used interchangeably. Let me write all of them. So advice, many people use this word interchangeably with counseling. Then they use this word suggestion. Then the third word is guidance. Then yes, of course, counseling. So for counseling we can use 2 L's or 1 L, anything is fine. Then this word is often used, psychotherapy. Therapy or psychotherapy, yeah. So people call me stating they want therapy from me. Yeah, I offer some kind of therapy but not exactly psychotherapy. Yes, so these terms are used interchangeably. I would like to differentiate them, then you will understand what is meant by counseling exactly. Advice, yes, anybody can give advice. For that there is no qualification required. Usually people give advice with lot of experience and it is highly subjective. When they provide advice, the receiver has to follow it, no other go. So there is an authority involved. So if an elder person is giving you an advice, you should follow it, you have no other go. Or if you don't follow it, there may be some negative consequences. So that is not really counseling. Okay. Yeah. So then what is the difference between advice and suggestion? So people use these terms interchangeably. In general, I would say advice and suggestion, they are very similar. However, there is no authority in suggestion. So when a person is giving you suggestion, it means you and the other person are equal and there may not be any negative consequences. Now, if you don't follow it, they won't say, no, you did not follow it, you are going to have some consequences for that. I don't think that will happen. So there is no authority involved and moreover there will be options, at least 2 options. One option is either to follow, another option is not to follow. But in advice, you have to follow, you have no other option. Okay, so again that is not counseling. So advice and suggestion anybody can give. And there are a lot of issues happening because of advice and suggestions. I would say when advice and suggestions are given, drama triangle is taking place. Drama triangle is a concept from transactional analysis. I will explain you that. So this is a triangle that you know. Right. So there are 3 roles involved in this triangle. One is victim, another is rescuer, and the last one is persecutor. Okay, there are 3 roles people take. So whenever someone is coming to you for help, you will be the person who asks for help is victim and the person who is going to offer help will be rescuer. And I would say these are all this is like a cycle. If someone starts with being a rescuer, he may end up a victim, or if he starts with the victim role, he may end up to be a persecutor. So this can happen if you give advice or suggestion. So usually the rescuers give this. I will give you some examples, then you will understand. See, consider that this is the river. Okay. So here is the school. I cannot draw school, so I am just going to write it is a school. Please consider this as a school. And here is a boy and he is 9-10 years old, small boy. So usually he goes to the school by walking through the river. There won't be any water. But today there is flood, so there is so much of water and he is not able to go to school. So he is standing there. So he is requiring the help probably. So you who is wanting to become a counselor, you are going and meeting him, you are seeing him there standing with the bag and uniform. So what will you tell him, what will you ask him? So the usual answers for these questions will be, I will ask him not to go to school today. Why should he go to school? There is flood. If he goes via that river, he will be washed away. So he shouldn't go to school today. So I would advise him not to go to school. That can be one answer. Another answer is I will tell him that going to school is very important. For some people education is very important. Yes, it is. So somehow or other go to school, and that person might offer help, like if that person knows how to swim, so that person may swim and take this boy along with him, and then help him reach the school. Or if there is some other way, or if there is a bridge. So these are the different options people would provide to this boy. Okay. So I understand they are offering either advice or suggestion, because he doesn't the person who is giving this advice or suggestion, that person doesn't know whether this boy really wants to go to school today. Okay. So without asking anything, if we offer something, that will be called as advice or suggestion. Now if you are giving this option, don't go to school today, just go home, be happy. If you give that idea and if he follows that, he goes home, and then there is nobody at home to take care of him, and what will happen? Or if he goes to school the next day, the teacher will ask, why didn't you come yesterday? So he would say that that person only told. No, you will be blamed. So in this case, so the boy is the victim, and the person who gave the advice or suggestion is a rescuer. So this is what happened today. But the next day when the teacher comes, this boy becomes persecutor for the person who gave the advice. Now if you are going to meet him, if you have given this advice not to go to school, but the teacher is asking, why didn't you come to school yesterday? So he says that he only told. So if the teacher knows you, the teacher may call and ask, why did you say something like that? So in that case, you become a victim. So whenever you help people, this is what happening. I am not saying don't help people, but in a way that empowers them. They will take care of themselves. Okay, so one scenario is if you are asking the boy not to go to school. Another scenario is if you are asking the boy to go to school, or you are giving some idea like swim through the river, or you are taking the boy to the school by swimming, and when you try to swim, there is so much of water coming, and you are able to come to the next bank, but the boy is washed away. What will happen? So you try to help that boy, finally you have become the persecutor. Okay. So those things can happen, and if you are saying that he can go in some other way, finding some other route, what if he is lost? Then there will be some CCTV camera, and it will show that you only told him to go to this route. Probably someone kidnapped him, and you will be caught by the police. Okay. So when you try to help them, this can happen, and if you can think of your own life, how many ever times you have helped and you have ended up as a victim. So think about that. So if the advice works, this can if it doesn't work, it can happen. Sometimes it works with your help. He goes to some other he goes via some other route and then reaches the school, and some other day he meets you. He says, you helped me a lot on the other day, please give me your WhatsApp number. So whenever I have to take important decisions, I will call you, and you will be giving the phone number with lot of enthusiasm and love. Yes, you want to help people. But 1 or 2 days if he is calling by 9 o'clock, that's fine. But the next day he is calling at 10 o'clock, he is asking silly doubts. It may not be silly for him, but it may be silly for you. So after some time he starts calling you by 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Then what will happen? You don't want to attend his call, you block his call. So this time what happens is you become persecutor and he becomes victim. So if you try to help them, if it works, again there will be some issues for you. If it doesn't work, again there will be some issues for you. I have worked as a counselor in an engineering college, and the typical case in the second year of engineering is students will come to the counselor stating that I don't want to continue engineering anymore. So I'll ask why. So they would say that I don't have the aptitude to study engineering. Okay, well and good. So you may study something else. But the parents will come and say that, see, we have spent lot of money to pay the donation and get a seat. So it's not possible to leave the seat and go to some other course right now. So he should complete this degree, then whatever he wants to do, he can later do it. But what will happen, this boy will say that no, I don't want to study further, I cannot undergo this issues, difficulties for 3 more years. But parents will not understand that. So initially when the boy was admitted in the college, the boy was like a victim, and he would have told the parents that I do not know anything, dad, mom, so whatever you want to do, please do, I know you will do some good thing for me. So that is the time the parents become rescuer. They ask everybody and then get some idea, okay, this is the best engineering college, this is the best engineering course, so they will pay some donation, fee, everything, and then this happen. But in the second year, what happens is he becomes persecutor. He says that I don't want to study engineering. It can be engineering or any other subject also, it can be psychology or medicine. So he becomes persecutor. He says that I cannot study this more, and the parents become victim. Okay. So this keeps happening in all the movies. You would have seen this happening. The hero will be asking some idea to talk to the heroine, to the comedian or the friend will be giving advice or suggestion, so that would not work, but later hero will become comedian. So this keeps happening. Okay. So whenever you try to help them, you become victim or persecutor later. So when you give advice or suggestion, this will happen. And if you want to really help people, then what you have to offer is one of these 3. These 3 requires yes, some qualification and professional training. That is what I am offering. Okay. So advice and suggestion anybody can give, no experience is required, experience is required, probably that's what they would say. So I have undergone a lot of issues in my life, so your issue is similar to my issue, so they will offer advice, but your advice may not work for everybody, because your life is different from others' life. And most of the time advice and suggestion, they are just taken for some time, later they understand that this is not going to work, and as I said, this drama triangle takes place. So this is called as drama triangle. Okay. So if you offer guidance, counseling or psychotherapy, what you will be going into is winner's triangle. That's again similar triangle, but instead of becoming a persecutor, you will be assertive, and instead of a rescuer, you will care and empower, and instead of becoming victim, you will show your vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities means weaknesses. Everybody has got weakness. So you can show your vulnerability. This is again a cycle. Okay. So when you offer guidance, counseling, psychotherapy, I understand, or I consider you are taking this role of caring and empowering the other person. So you will empathize with the other person in this case. So you are telling the boy, yeah, I understand that you don't want to go to school, or you can initially ask this question, what do you want to do? Instead of saying something that don't go to school today, go this way or that way, then that is advice or suggestion. But if you ask this question, what you want to do? And he may say that I want to go to school. If he says he wants to go to school, the next question can be, how do you want to go to school? Okay. So you are helping him to understand the situation, and he will take a decision. He is 9 years old boy, and psychology says 9-10 years old children can think and make decisions. Unfortunately, in our culture, not everybody is given that opportunity to take decisions, but cognitively, neurologically speaking, their brain is having that ability to take decisions. So you have to give them some time to think. Okay. So if you are asking this question, how do you want to go to school? If he says I don't know, then you can say that there are different options, whichever is fine for you, you can take it up. Or if he says I don't want to go to school, then you can tell him that, okay, if you don't want to go to school, fine. Okay. So don't give advice or suggestion stating that education is important. Yes, education is important for you, probably it is not important for him today, or he may be having some cultural activities in the school today, probably he is not interested, we don't know. So empathize with him, understand his background, understand his thinking, then talk to him. That will be caring. And empowering the, okay, so if you want to, if you don't want to go to school, if you are going home, who will be there? Will there be people to take care of you? If you come to school tomorrow, will there be any negative consequences? Will you be able to face with that? So ask these questions and he will take a decision. If he takes a decision, then you will not be blamed. When you offer advice or suggestion, you own the advice or suggestion, and that is when they think that now you are responsible. Whoever gave the advice or suggestion is responsible. But in but in winner's triangle, you are caring and empowering the other person to take decisions. So he will own his decision. He will decide whether to go to school today or not. He will own the consequences if there are any. Okay, so that will be kind of guidance, and guidance requires some psychological knowledge. And in counseling or guidance, we have a methodology called as cost benefit analysis. So the cost benefit analysis, there are two options, which if you have to take any decision, there will be two options, whether to do this or not. So for an example, let us take the whether to join engineering or medicine. So there is a process called as I said, cost benefit analysis. I will explain it to you later about all these things, but just to give you a gist. So engineering, medicine. Okay, so positives, negatives, positives, negatives. So you are giving this format to the person and he writes all the points related to this. So what are the positives of engineering? What are the negatives of engineering? What are the positives of doing medicine? What are the positives, negatives of doing medicine for him? So you should not get into and then say that this is the positive, that is the negative. Let him think, he is going to study. So he writes all those things, then we will give some scores, then whichever has got the highest score, we will ask him to, we will show him that this has got better score. So can you take this decision? So this is process of guidance. So similarly in this case, so you can help him understand the positives and negatives of going to school or not going to school, and he can take a decision. When he takes a decision, he owns it. Okay, so that is guidance. And other examples for guidance will be career guidance or premarital guidance. So there are a lot of theories for career guidance and premarital guidance. So only if you know these theories, you will be able to help them scientifically. So these theories are from lot of evidences, lot of researches. I would say guidance is equal to suggestion with evidence. Suggestion, yes, whatever is based on your experience you are giving, but guidance it is with evidence, it is with objectivity. So guidance is a scientific process. So you should know about cost benefit analysis or career guidance theories or marital counseling theories. So only if you know these things, then you will be able to guide. So in career guidance, these are the three principles we use: aptitude, personality, interest. So aptitude is your skill, and personality is how you are as a person, and interest, so we need to see all these three, and whichever field is suitable for you in all these three aspects, that is the best field for you. So how to find out that? There are a lot of psychological tools. So I can give you aptitude test, personality test and interest test. Then I will be able to find out whichever has got highest interest, highest personality, highest aptitude. Then I will tell you this seems to be the best option, best career for you. So I am giving you this idea, and my word is this seems to be. Okay. So finally the client takes the decision. So when this is done, this is a scientific process. So he cannot blame me based on the answers that he has given. I am giving his, giving him this idea that you may study this. So he will think about it. He will inquire with other people, and then he will make a decision. So it is his life. It is his career. Let him choose. So my work is to just help him. So similarly in marital counseling, there is a theory called the triangular theory of love. So in psychology, social psychology, people study this. So that says that intimacy, passion, commitment, these are the three aspects of a marital relationship, any romantic relationship. So if you have two people, whether to choose Ajay or Vijay, so you can use this theory, whether I have more passion, commitment, intimacy towards Ajay or Vijay. So the thing is, if you have passion, commitment, intimacy, that's not enough. The other person should also have. So then the relationship is better. So this is a marital guidance. But usually what happens, people tell you, parents or family members tell you, this is the best girl, this is the best boy, and he will be suitable for you, or astrology, or there are different other criteria. Based on that they say, oh, you are an engineering person and she is also engineer, so you both get married. Doctors should get married to doctors, psychologists to get married to psychologists. Not necessarily, but this is how marital guidance is done, and I would say they are all giving advice or suggestion. So telling that this is the best course you should join, that will be advice. If they are saying these are the two best courses, whichever you want to choose, you can choose, that will be suggestion. And guidance is aptitude, personality, interest. We measure all that, then based on the scores given by the client, if we suggest something, that will be guidance. So similarly, you should marry this boy or girl, that is advice. So you can marry these two, one of these two boys, one of these two girls, that will be suggestion. And guidance is using this triangular theory of love and finding out which person will suit you better, and that person should also think that you will be a suitable partner. So this is a scientific process. Then you are getting into this winner's triangle. This is called as winner's triangle. Okay, so that is guidance. So often we give counseling and guidance together. Not all the time we provide just counseling, sometimes guidance is given, but as a counselor or a person who is giving guidance, I am not responsible. I will tell that in the beginning itself to the client, this is your life, you take a decision, whether it is a career or marriage. Even in marital counseling, I don't tell people that you should be together, you should get divorced. It is their decision. I will never have a joint session. I will always have separate sessions. I will treat the husband as individual client and the wife as individual client, and I will help each individual to develop their mental health. Then they take a decision whether to join together or to get divorced. It is their personal affair. So let me not get into that. So guidance works this way, but mostly what happens with marital issues, these friends or common people, maybe relatives, they come in and then they say that what you did is right, what she did is wrong, so you should not do this, you should not do that. Then there is no resolution arrived. Most of the time they get into this drama triangle, and whenever these people are coming, they come as rescuers, but they are not actually rescuers, they are persecutors. They are probably worsening the relationship. So that can happen, not all the times, but this can happen. So it's better to meet a marital counselor who would help the husband and wife to take care of their mental health and improving their decision making ability. Then they let them decide whether to be together or get divorced. Okay, right. So then what is meant by counseling? Okay, yeah, counseling is helping people to help themselves, and there will not be any suggestion at all. That will be called as counseling. I would say counseling involves 3 to 4 aspects. These 3 to 4 aspects are these: thoughts, feelings, behavior, and then physiology. Okay, so this is again a cycle. So when people come to me as clients, they will be saying, I have depression. Depression is a feeling term. The labeling is done through the feeling. Okay, in that case, if they have depression or sadness, what will be the thought? There will be some negative thoughts, there may be suicidal thoughts. What will be the behavior? Probably they will be isolated, they will be crying. And physiology is, I am talking about the neurotransmitters and hormones. So neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin, there will be some changes. Okay, so this physiology usually it is taken care by psychiatrists, and we psychologists take care of either thoughts, feelings or behaviors. So when a person comes for depression, I can work on his feelings, then there will be changes in the behavior, or I can work on the thoughts, then there will be changes on the behavior. So this is a cycle. So the psychiatrist starts working on the physiology. Okay, dopamine is low, so let me give some medicines, and there will be some changes in the physiology, then there will be changes in the thought, there will be changes in the feeling, there will be changes in the behavior. Yes, great. But sometimes what happens is they become dependent on the medicine. So the ideal way is, yeah, whenever client gets medicine, if he is able to work on his thoughts or feelings or behavior on his own, it will be great. Otherwise, he can come to a counselor and we can help them to work on these 3. So these 3 are the important aspects of counseling. So if there is a person who is coming with anger issues, that is a feeling, or he may say that I am short tempered, I shout at people, I am aggressive. So probably they are talking about behavior. In many school settings, teachers will say this boy has behavioral problem. Yeah, behavioral problem is what's seen outside. He seems to have behavioral problem, but that's not standalone. There will be feelings behind that, there will be thoughts behind that. Okay, so if a boy is not coming to school properly, that's the behavior, and behaviorally he is not fine. But if he is depressed, he may not come to school. Or if he has thoughts like I am not interested in this subject, then he may not come to school. So as counselors, when one of these 3 are given to us, we should be able to correlate other 2. Okay, so if the person is presented with behavior issues, you will be able to find out what is the thought behind it, what is the feeling behind that. Then you will be able to help them. There are different counselors following different styles or approaches. So there are some counselors who call themselves cognitive counselors or cognitive therapists. So I would say they would more work on this thoughts more. And there are behavioral counselors, solution focused brief therapy, I guess. So for me, they seem to be working more on behavior. Okay, even though they don't claim so, that is my assumption. Yes. So there are gestalt counselors, there are person-centered counselors, humanistic counselors. I would say they mostly work on feelings, or they give more importance for feelings. Later they will come to behavior or thoughts. But these are the 3 aspects of counseling, and I am going to work one of them or all 3 of them and help them to take a decision or help them to find solutions for their problems. Okay. So that is counseling. So counseling is usually for people who have day-to-day issues. So if they have some emotional issues, then we can do counseling. But this therapy, psychotherapy is yes. So when they have chronic issues, probably when they have psychological disorders, what is given is psychotherapy. Psychotherapy is psychological therapy. Therapy means treatment. So people who have chronic issues, yes, they have to undergo treatment. If they undergo treatment, it will be better, and there will be lot of follow-ups. There may be medication required. So all those things will be done in psychotherapy. I am a counselor. I am not a psychotherapist. I deal with people who are having day-to-day issues, and this training is all about counseling only. Psychotherapy, it requires lot of training and supervision, and online course may not be enough for psychotherapy. So psychotherapy, if you want to learn, please go in person and learn, and it is most of the time 1 or 2 year process. So that's a different story altogether. So we are counselors, and we will be doing one of these 2, guidance and counseling, and guidance or counseling. Okay. So hope you got some idea, and when people tell me that you are very young, how can you offer counseling to a person who is older than you? I am not able to understand that question. I am not giving advice or suggestion. For giving advice or suggestion, experience, age, they may be important, but this is a skill. Counseling is a skill, and I am not going to tell him this is the way you have to solve this problem. He knows about his life. Let him solve his problem. My work is to improve his mental health by working on the thoughts, feelings, or behavior. Okay, so counseling is helping people to help themselves. Giving advice or suggestion, that's not at all counseling, but people use this very interchangeably. I have heard people saying that what is the counseling that you do? We are also doing counseling. I have 10 years of experience. I am married twice. Boss, your life is different from their life. Whatever worked for you may not work for the other person. Actually will not work for the other person. Okay, so be mindful. And counseling is not advising, counseling is not giving suggestion, counseling is not giving ideas. Counseling is helping them to improve their mental health by working on their thought, feeling and behavior. Please understand this. Okay. So when you are able to understand this, counseling is a skill and it requires professional training, then you can get really trained. People ask me, in 60 hours you are giving training for counseling, how is it possible? How to solve all the issues? No, solving issues is not in my hand, it is in the hands of the client. I am just going to help him. So, to work on the thought, feeling and behavior, 60 hours may be enough. I guess that is what I am doing. So, whatever may be the problem, do not worry about that. He may be having marital issue, he may be having issues with the husband or wife or whatever it is. So, do not worry about all that. You are going to help him to improve his mental health, that is it. So, he will solve his problem. So, people give different names: corporate counseling, school counseling, marital counseling, grief counseling. Finally, counseling is counseling. Counseling is basically counseling. Based on the place that you do, they give different names: school counseling, college counseling, hospital counseling. Based on the concern that you deal with, marital counseling, career counseling, okay, or based on the population you deal with, geriatric counseling, child counseling, adolescent counseling, but it is counseling basically. So, there may be extra things that you may need to know that you can learn, but the basics of counseling can be learnt in 60 hours because I am going to give lot of examples for you, and you will be able to learn a lot about counseling, not about advice or suggestion. Advice or suggestion, you cannot learn it in any college, it cannot be given as a professional degree. Okay, so that cannot be done. But counseling, yes, it is a skill based program, and I will help you to deal with that. I guess you have got some clarity. You can Google search these terms and understand more. In some pages you may find these two words used interchangeably, but this is how I believe. No, it is completely different. Advice is different from suggestion, suggestion is different from guidance, guidance is different from counseling, counseling is different from psychotherapy. We cannot use these terms interchangeably. Okay, so let us see much more things in the next video. Thank you so much.